Hello, I'm D.T.A. I'm making this video mainly because I want to explain what is the matrix to the human population out there. Let's start with the race. The race that we all run. It doesn't care where you are from, where your parents are, or really what person you are. All of us are in. So first, you are told that when you're a high school student, you need to go to university. After university, you have to get a good work. You get a good work and then you retire. And if you did it good, you can have a good retirement with a lot of money. And finally, die as you wish with all your family, your grandkids, granddaughters, grandsons, whatever you want. The thing is that when you work 8 hours a day, you are paid just so little of what you actually made. And at the end of the point, you start noticing that you receive these papers that we call money, right? The money is actually a machine that you use to, exchange goods. If you want to buy a milk in the nearest store, in the Costco, in the 7-Eleven, you go there and you get your milk, you get your cheese, you get your bread, you get your rice, right? So you do this all through your life. Basically, you follow the same path that humanity have told you to follow. That is going to school, going to a good college, going to a good university, and then work until you can finally retire. But the thing is that all this life, when you look at it deeply, you start noticing a pattern. The pattern is that basically you're a fucking slave. You're a slave of society, you're a slave of your fathers, you're a slave of your own view of the world, and even you're a slave of your own wishes. Obviously, there is people that want to become a doctor and have different careers and then go to a school, a university. But when you notice, you go to work, you work 8 hours a day, you come to home, you spend all this paper into goods and services that you acquire. And when you notice, you start to feel that actually the money and the things that you got are not being enough. The things that you have and the hard hours of work that you put in, actually that things are actually gone, and at the end of the month you notice that most of the things that you have are not there anymore. Most of the things that you work for so painfully actually are already gone. And then you start noticing that you basically are working all your life to get things that actually allow you to stay more time alive, like food, a good house, security. But at the end of the road, nothing of this run, of this rat race that people call, that you go to school, high school, university, and work, nothing of these have truly meant something to you, because all of this has been just literally a cycle of your life that you basically work for others in order to get paper, and that paper then you use it to supply your own instincts. So basically, what we are doing right here is working our ass off just to be able to eat, to be able to have 3 meals a day, to be able to even have something that may not be a necessity, but we feel like it is, like purchasing the new iPhone, purchasing the new flashy car, the new fancy car, and these things. So at the end of the road, you're following another people's dream. And that is what I'm trying to tell you. You're at the end of the road following another people's dream that are not that may not be really meaningful to you because since you were a child, 5 years old, 4 years old, you were installed that this is the path to live when it truly isn't. When in reality, whatever you may want, even if it's out of this road that in this race, you can have it. But thanks to society, you go directly like a fucking dog without a brain, and you go right there and you follow the same path over and over and over again until you find good results. And the fucking matrix is basically that society tells us all of these things when in reality we might not like the things, but still we do them because of social pressure and because we need to follow the same path because we need to be successful. Imagine the level of manipulation in where if you don't go to a new university, you feel that you are a disappointment for you and your family. That is bullshit. But now let's focus on what is money because we talk about money, but what is truly that? Money is this, simple things. It's this paper that you go and buy some things. As I added the example before, you go to the nearest store and you purchase whatever you want with that money, and then you get things back, right? But wait, what is truly it? Because I am more than sure that you know that you don't pay the milk that you purchase at the nearest store with just paper. There is something into it, right? So, what is that? Is your time. Is your damn time. You're not buying things of this nature. You're not acquiring goods and services with paper. You're sacrificing your time, you're putting your time in order to acquire these things. But wait, if the things that I acquire, like food, like a safe home, like security, if all of these things allows me to stay alive and obviously be alive more time, what am I truly doing? Because if I get my money back in paper and then I use that paper to be alive more time, then we have a paradox. Don't you think, humanity? I think so. Because if everything that you get basically is just to be alive more time, and that time you use it to produce paper, and the paper to get more time, and the time to get paper, and the paper to get more time, then we're in a fucking cycle. In where everything that you put in, every ounce of work that you put in, is just to make sure that you're alive another hour so you can work, get the paper, and exchange it to be alive another hour to get the paper and exchange it to be alive another hour. This is the fucking matrix. This is not about digits, this is not about any kind of, I don't know, Terminator, AI revolutionary or something like that. The matrix is already happening. And it happens when you don't think outside the box. And when you don't notice that you're being a slave of your own instincts. You are not living, you are surviving. Perfect, so we have already this cycle, and all of us are on it. But how do we get out of it? How do we get out of the matrix? Right? Well, the thing is that you cannot get out. You cannot get out because that's humanity. Humanity is built in that way, and you cannot get out of it. But you can crack it. You don't need to get out of the matrix. You need to use the same laws in your advantage. And that's how so many people have cracked the matrix and get out of this fucking cycle in where everything that you do is not living but either surviving, in where you're not a slave of your wishes and material possessions, in where you're not a slave of others' opinion, but either you have a meaningful life, a life with values, and a life with purpose. Because I've always believed that a life without purpose is like a travel without destiny. Where do you go when you don't have any destiny? Nowhere. You get to nowhere. And that's what we want to do, right? So we will first focus on hack the matrix. You hack it by using the same laws to your advantage. Actually, capitalism is an inflationary system in where most of the money will be devaluating its value. But things like crypto, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., will be able to have the same supply, and thus, if the demand keeps going, basically the price of all of these coins will be rising. And basically, what we need to do to get out of this damn race is being able to create enough value. We just need to create enough value to get out of it. As I said, you need to use the laws against it. One of the things about our system right now is that the more that you contribute to others, the more valuable your time is and the more paper you can get back. So that means that if you do a great thing for humanity, you do a great thing for your town, for your city, for your country, for your continent, for the world even. If you do these things, you will be rewarded in many ways, and that will be your money that you can then use not to buy fixed things that will allow you only to stay alive, but to contribute to the life of all of us, to the life of humanity. Not just because of me, but because of others. That's how you get out of it, by getting so good at doing something that you can get this paper to accomplish your purpose. And that is the most important thing. You need to have a purpose that you can work towards it and be able to put one step next to the other, even when it's the darkest time in history. In your most dark times, the only light that brights your road is a purpose. So you use all the value that you got by being valuable to humanity and put it toward your purpose. That's how you get out of the matrix. And the last thing is that most of humanity will always be trapped in this matrix, at least I think 90 to 95%. Because most of humans first don't want to hear this because it's painful, and two, can never accomplish it because of their own limitations. They think, oh no, how am I going to do that? Or, oh no, what he's doing is bullshit, I don't believe in it. You might not believe me, you might think that what I'm saying is crazy, but I will tell you something. all of the people that have get out of this matrix have done exactly that, have done exactly what I'm saying. And all of you watching humans out there can be able to do exactly the same. There is no limitations for it. I have the same 2 arms as you, I have the same 2 legs as you, I have the same brain, I have 2 eyes, I have 1 nose, I have 1 mouth, and we are indeed the same. So if all of these people have been able to get out of the matrix by bringing value to humanity, why can't you?